Everybody has dreams, and quarter number 4 of 2025 is coming. Quarterly planning and quarterly goal setting has been the game changer in my life, and I want to take a deep dive with you how you can use this for getting the best out of your quarter 4. So let's dive in. Everyone has dreams, but there are few people whose dreams are connected to their purpose, mission, the big vision for their life, and core values. These people have a direction that gives them momentum every single day. So how does it work, and how does quarterly planning fits into? All start with identifying what is your life purpose, who you are becoming, what do you want from your life, what do you don't want from your life, what are the big aspiration dreams you have, and what make you happy and what create anxieties. It's not easy to gain that kind of clarity. It takes time, and I feel like our main purpose in this world is to figure that out. What is that big purpose, why we are here? It becomes so philosophical at some point. While it is not easy to get to that clarity, you still have some indications around what gives you energy, what drains your energy, what kind of work you like, what kind of work you don't like, what kind of people you like to mingle with, what kind of people you really want to avoid and you don't enjoy even 10 minutes with them. Those gives you some indication that you keep meditating, keep reflecting upon to find what is that long-term direction for you. Now, I personally feel that those are inspirations, those are indications, those are directions that you are headed towards something, but they are not tangible enough that you can touch and set a goal. The largest that I have seen work really well is the 5-year direction. And I will give you a couple of examples. When I was at the lowest point in my life, I hated that marketing job. The only thing that worked for me was setting a 5-year direction, that whatever challenges that I'm facing today, I will overcome them, all of them, in 5 years. Again, there was no tangible step that I could identify, 10 steps that can take me over that struggle, but just setting that intention was enough for me. And that gave me hope every single day. When my career was doing well enough, after 3 years, I was working in the 5th largest company. I set another 5-year intention, and that was me becoming a manager, getting into the leadership. I did not know exact path, but I set that intention. And finally now, 3 years ago, when I decided that I'm done with the corporate ladder, I want to do something different, I want to do something humongous for myself. I did not know how to approach it, but I know in 5 years I will figure out. And I'm at year number 3 where I have tried many different things, and I'm closer than where I started. And I know that another 2 years, another 5 years, I will get there. I will get there. But this direction is what gives me energy to come back every single day, work on something, wake up at 4 or work until 4, all that are working because I feel like I have a direction. Now, there was point in my life where I was in circle. I did not know where I'm going. And those are some of the hardest day you want to avoid. So how does it work that you have that someday inspiration, your life vision, and then you set a 5-year direction, and then you create some really tangible goal for this quarter, and then that's all matters. And I will get into that detail as well. So let's keep going. The problem with long-term direction is you have too many options. Everyone has too many options. That's a good thing, right? That's a very good thing that you have an opportunity. But at the same time, because you have too many options, you don't know where to go. So having too many opportunities also confuses you, derail you, and make you feel lost. Current time is one of those times where AI has created so many opportunities. On top of that, there are so much uncertainty around all these different paths. Which path can take you closer to a career that will survive versus the path that can take you closer to a career which may disappear in a few years from now? This is the real situation where you don't know what will happen, and deciding a long term goal doesn't even matter what you will do. I will give you an example. When it comes to startup, there are so many steps that you have to go through. You start from idea, you build a MVP, then you work on distribution. It may take a year, may take 5 years, may take 10 years, to the point where you get acquired by somebody or get something humongous happen. Similarly, for a programmer, there are hundreds of paths that they will have to take before they become a senior programmer or a development manager. If you search in Google for both a startup and front-end developer or a back-end developer, you will find hundreds of these roadmaps which takes years to achieve. And that bring you back to a situation like this where you don't know which path is good, what you should do now versus what you can do later. So let's think about this. When you drive, you have all these paths available to you. You can drive to any place you want, but you cannot drive to all different places, right? That would be just driving in circle. If you start driving here, then you decide to take a turn to Florida, and after that suddenly you decide to go to Chicago and then New York and then back to Chicago and then California. If you try to do that, you will be in circles, right? Same thing, I'm from India, so if you decide to go from Delhi to Kolkata or Bangalore or Mumbai, you have to decide that one direction. And once you have that choice, whether you're going from, let's say, Houston to New York or Houston to California, then you can focus on the point in time, and then you can just be narrow and forget about all different options that are available, and you can just focus on driving from Houston to New York. Now all the options, all the opportunity that is related to California, those will get eliminated. Same thing with Chicago, Kansas City, Salt Lake City. Now you are not focusing on all those. You're not worried about all those options because you have decided you're going from Houston to New York. Same thing with a person who is driving from Delhi to Bangalore. Once that intention is made, you will be able to eliminate all other possibilities. When you drive in the night, you only get this 200-meter visibility. At this point, you're not able to see from Houston to New York or Delhi to Bangalore, and you are still okay because you are focused on this 200-meter, and that's all matter in this point. When you are using your map, most of the time you are in this view. You're not in this view where you're trying to figure out what will happen when I reach to this point, what will happen when I reach to this point, how many intersections will be there. You're not worried about all that. Similarly, when you get that kind of clarity that you're going from Houston to New York, Delhi to Bangalore, all you need to worry about is first few steps that you will have to take. If you are at the idea stage, all you have to worry about finding a biggest problem, validating that problem, meeting with 25 people. That's all you care about. That's all matters. You don't have to figure out how you're going to make a landing page, how you're going to distribute it to 100 and 200 people, how you're going to go from 200 people to 1,000 and 1,000 to 5,000, right? What matters at that point is finding the biggest problem that you can solve for which people pay for. Same thing with a developer, front-end developer career. Once you decide you want to become a front-end developer, all matters is the first two things or three things that you will learn. It could be React, it could be Next.js, it could be JavaScript, it could be DSA. Same thing, if you have decided to become a back-end engineer, then you will have a similar kind of roadmap. But all that is matter is what you can do immediately in next few months. And that's where, my friend, quarterly plan comes into picture. Now, there is one more thing that I will cover. How you decide all these, how you decide what you can achieve in next 3 months or next 5 years. There are two methods that you use. One, you estimate based on number of things that I can do this month, this week, this quarter. You estimate how far you can go. Like in cricket, if the players are making 10 runs per over, you kind of have an idea that in 5 over they will be around 50 runs. So you could project based on your current action. Most of the people live like this, where they define projects, actions, tasks, and day-to-day responsibilities, hoping those all will accumulate to take you further down the road. What you will be able to achieve 1, 5, and 10 years from now based on the work that you are doing. There is a slightly different approach where you go outcome based, where you decide what is the long-term purpose, vision that you have for this company, and then you try to shrink it down to 5 years and then 3 years, and then you try to decide what are the action that I can take today that take me closer to this big vision. Now you're not focus on your daily actions, you're focused on that North Star. Sometimes you will be able to spend too much energy, sometimes you may not be able to spend that much energy, but you'll keep focusing on the North Star that you're looking at. And those North Star define your quarterly goal and your daily actions. It does require a very deep level of understanding of your emotions, your vision, where you want to go, where you want to take yourself. But as long as you have that direction clear, that you're going from Houston to New York and you're not going from Houston to California, that is enough for you to decide for this next quarter. So how does it work? So once you have that kind of clarity, you want to get best out of this next quarter. As I said before, if you try to do everything, you try to be open to all the options, you will be in circle. So what you want to decide is your direction to New York, and what is the first few things that I could do that take me closer to New York. In your life, you will always have these areas. You may have even more, but everybody suggests that health is the first, family is the second, and as long as you're working really hard on those two, your life will be much better. The finance and work are the next one. Work feed into finance, and when you have financial stability that allow you to do more, allow you to live more freely, because we are living in this finance driven world, so finance is important. There are other areas that make you live a holistic life. So you look into all these areas, try to decide all different things that you could do, you want to do, that take you closer to your direction. And then you pick only 1 or 2 of those. It's just 12 weeks between now and end of the year. You cannot achieve everything. You can achieve a few things. So picking 1 or 2 goals or project is enough. If you decide to work on idea validation and start building your MVP, that would be a really good goal. But then you can do that for one project. You may have 5 different ideas, and if you try to do all those 5 different ideas, that would be too much. And then people like me who have a full-time job, so my big goal would be working on my startup, and then second, working on my content. Other than those two, nothing matters. The way it works, that you will be maintaining everything in these areas: your work, your family, your health, some hobbies, some other things. But what we are talking about, something big where you will be spending at least 2 hours daily on that one single goal while managing everything else that you're doing in your life. So just wanted to be clear about that. You're not completely ignoring your family and health and whatnot. Then you're deciding, you write something for yourself, why this goal matters for you. What are the positive impact if you achieve this goal in next 3 months? You also try to identify what will be the negative impact if you don't achieve it, because that create the urgency in your mind. And then the roadblock. My number one roadblock, conflicting priorities, would be that if I'm really, really busy with my office work and my morning hours are taken by my startup, then I don't have any time left for the content. One of the things that I have done is to align my content and my startup together, which means I only post about my startup so that I don't have to come up with a new idea or new content, right? So I was able to connect the two, and I was able to repurpose what I'm doing in my startup, and that helped. And you will be able to identify similar type of thing. And then once you're done with these two activities, you list everything else that you want to do, but you have not picked them as your top 2 items. You put them in Warren Buffett do not list. So there is a whole story where Warren Buffett driver asked him how he can achieve big in his life, and Warren asked him to create a list of 25 items. He did that, and then Warren said, pick the 5. He did that, and then he said, make 2 lists, 5 items, and then these remaining 20 items. And he said, anytime you work on these 20 items, believe that you are holding yourself back from achieving those 5 items. So that's how it works. Anytime you will work on this list, that means you are intentionally deciding not to achieve your top goals. So this is how you will decide the top thing that you can achieve and have a big impact in your life. And once you decide that, make sure to have an emotional later to yourself why this goal matters, what are the positive impact, what are the negative impact, and keep that with you so that you can read that multiple times in this quarter, at least once a week, because if you don't, you will miss it. You will start working on something else, some busy stuff will come, and then just remembering the name of the goal or the project is not enough. You need to remember the emotion that comes with it. All right, moving to the last step. By the way, I have been using this exact method since 2022. This method is one of the biggest reason that I was able to gain the clarity I have. And one last thing that I will tell, that during the quarter, if you get 5 more ideas, keep adding that to do not work list. It is also your backlog, because once the quarter is over, you will open up this list again and then see what are the next 2 things that you want to work on. You may also decide that these projects are making some impact and I want to continue working on those, and that's completely fine. And that's how it has been in many of the quarter for me, where I decide something to do for a quarter and then I see the impact, I see the results, so I continue for the next quarter as well. The key is every quarter you are intentionally deciding what will be your focus. Now let's go to the next one. Once you have gone through this, you create a summary for yourself that you can read at least once a week. If possible, read every day in the morning or in the night, because that remind you every single day what are you going after. Then this is the execution. So up to this point is all dream, but dream doesn't convert unless you have an execution plan. You break these projects into a 12-week timeline, and then you still keep it high level, but you decide what are the different activities that you will be doing in across these 12 weeks, and you want to write it in terms of actions and outcome. So by, let's say, by week number 5, I will finish these actions and I will receive these kind of outcomes. One example, if you are in the idea validation phase, by week number 1, you will send, let's say, 10 messages every single day to people, asking them if they would be open to interview with you. And so 10 multiplied by 7 is 70 messages. That's an action. The output will be possibly 3 people or 10 people will respond to those messages. So that will be an outcome. By the week number 2 or week number 3, you have 5 interview arranged, 2 interview already done, right? So you got some feedback. So you divide all your actions into week by week timeline. You also create some kind of schedule. For me, it's 4 o'clock to 7:30. If I wake up at 5 o'clock, then it becomes 5 o'clock to 7:30. It's fine, but I try to dedicate 2 hours at least regularly, and when I'm in momentum cycle, I do more. And then the last thing is, every single week you review your goal, you focus on your goal, and you read this line, this every single week during that weekly review cycle. You also try to create some kind of scorecard that tells the actions that you have taken and then the outcome you have received. Last thing would be what you have accomplished last week. What are the top 5 things for next week? And then any roadblock. And then you try to gauge, are you enjoying it? Are you not enjoying it? What are the things that you could have said no to? Just by doing this weekly activity, you're connecting your daily and weekly activity with your quarterly goals. This one activity increase the possibility of your achieving your quarterly goals to like 10x. And that's it. If you do these activities, you will be able to achieve your quarterly goal. If you achieve your quarterly goal, you will have much more refined and better direction for your 5-year goal. And same thing, you make a lot of progress, you will have much more clarity around what you're doing, and then ultimately you will better accomplish your dream, you will be closer to that. So I hope this is useful to you. If you want, I will be happy to share this file. Let me know what you think, and share your big vision, big dream, big quarterly plan with me. Whatever I can do to support your journey. I hope this was helpful. Bye for now. I will wait for your question.